Ukraine is on the offensive, continuing to fight inside Russia, announcing today its forces have advanced even farther into the Kursk region. This is the first time that there has been a foreign incursion into Russia since World War II. Ukraine releasing this video, they say showing Russian soldiers surrendering earlier this month. NBC News has not been able to independently, there's the video. We can't independently verify that video, but Ukraine says it now controls 74 villages in Russia's Kursk region, close to Ukraine's northern border. The State Department says this does not violate U.S. policy against cross-border raiding because Ukraine is defending itself from Russian attacks launched from that area. Moscow has begun withdrawing some troops from Ukraine, bringing them back home to fight off Kyiv's offensive. And joining me now is the former U.S. ambassador to Russia, John Sullivan. He was ambassador under both Presidents Biden and Trump before his post in Moscow. He had served as the U.S. Deputy Secretary of State. And his new book, which is terrific, is Midnight in Moscow, a memoir from the front lines of Russia's war against the West. John, congratulations. I cannot tell folks how great this is.
Oh, you're very kind.
Just the backstory of what it's like to be U.S. ambassador in Russia and actually behind the front lines after the attack in Ukraine when we did not know whether NATO and the U.S. were going to get involved. All the talk about the prisoner exchanges. But I want to first start on today.
Yeah.
Going across the border, Ukraine has been complaining loudly for 2 years now that they had their hands cuffed.
Right.
Because they could not retaliate against raids from the north.
Right.
Particularly. And finally, the U.S. is saying, okay.
Right.
Which Macron and other, NATO allies have been saying they should have been able to do all along.
Yeah. Well, listen, I've been cheering since I heard that they had crossed the border in large numbers. They've seized a large amount of territory. It's been a huge personal, political, and strategic setback for Putin. He's severely embarrassed by this. He's had to address it, declare an emergency. Pro-Kremlin commentators in state media are asking, how could this have happened? The soldiers that you saw in that video, I know it hasn't been verified, but I understand large numbers of Russian troops have been killed, taken prisoner. And what's significant, Andrea, is these are conscripts. They weren't sent to Ukraine. They and their families were told, you're conscripts, you don't have the training, you're not going to Ukraine. Now they're getting killed and captured in Russia. And oh, by the way, under Russian law, right now they're not entitled to special compensation that they would get if they were killed or captured just on the other side of the border in Ukraine. Real political problem for Putin.
And the Russian people aren't even told that there's a war. They're told it's a special operation.
It's a special military operation.
And they arrest people who say it's a war. They arrest, journalists who say it's a war, as we know. Let me ask you about Putin. You've sat across from him.
Right.
You also first met him when you were credentialed.
Right.
I want to ask you about that, but how do you think he's going to react to this and to the embarrassment?
Well, it reminds me, Andrea, of what happened last year with the Prigozhin mutiny, right? Severe embarrassment, significant threat to Putin. He dismantled, he disabled the threat, but he didn't forget what had happened and took his revenge by killing Prigozhin with a bomb on a plane. He will react aggressively to this. He will send Russian troops in to push the Ukrainians out of that Russian territory. But the significant thing, Andrea, is that's going to distract, and he's going to have to remove troops from Ukraine to do that. So it's going to take the pressure off Ukraine in Ukrainian territory.
And you described colorfully when you first presented your credentials, sizing up Putin, the former KGB guy, and you described him as kind of like a mafia figure, like Paulie in Goodfellas.
Yes.
Tell me
my
more.
favorite movie. Yes.
Well,
the Paul Sorvino character, Big Paulie there he is in Goodfellas. The narrator says that at the beginning of the movie that Big Paulie moved slowly because Big Paulie didn't have to move fast for anybody. And that's Putin's approach to life, to his status as the president of the Russian Federation. He keeps U.S. presidents, the Pope, waiting because he's Putin and he doesn't have to move for anybody.
And he has this policy of aggressively arresting Americans,
Yes.
detaining them, trying them, keeping them. You had to deal most memorably with Paul Whelan and Trevor Reed.
Yep.
How was it to visit them in prison? And then when Trevor Reed got out, before Paul Whelan, who was being sentenced to 16 years,
Right.
you know, we've seen the excitement, the thrill of Whelan's return just 2 weeks ago at Joint Base Andrews and his reuniting with his family. But what was it like to tell, and we see him now there with the president in freedom, what was it like to have to tell Paul that he was left behind?
It was hard for Paul. It was hard for his family. He, at that point, had been detained for years before Trevor had been arrested, long before Trevor was arrested. Both former Marines. And Trevor was released. Trevor himself was upset when he learned on the plane through his freedom that Paul wasn't going to be coming with him. So Paul Whelan had to serve almost 6 years, about 5.5 years, as an innocent American. And it used to infuriate me as an American citizen and as the U.S. ambassador that the Russian government would target Americans, would target us, just based on who we are, our citizenship. But then I'd stop and think, well, you know, they often treat their own people just as badly. So they're equal opportunity abusers of civil rights.
And now we've got Mark Fogel left behind, among others.
Thank you for mentioning that. So Mark was a teacher at the Anglo-American School in Moscow, where our embassy children went to school there. He was a beloved teacher at the Anglo-American School. He was arrested before Brittany Griner, basically for the same charge. Brittany got a 9-year sentence. Mark got a 14-year sentence. So now I'm really concerned about Mark and his family. We've had Americans relief. It's like Paul's situation when Trevor was released. He's left behind, but not forgotten. And I know that there are many, including me, who are advocating for getting him out.
Well, again, I mean, and you dedicate this to your wonderful wife, Grace, who developed cancer while you were continuing to serve under Joe Biden. And, of course, you lost her. And she was extraordinary. You were extraordinary.
Thank you.
I can't thank you enough. The book is Midnight in Moscow. It's a great read.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador.